looking at Donovan suitors. Who do you believe is the favorite? Could Newt Barr get paired in a deal to Seattle to help fill right field as well? Remember, of course, that Arenado now
left-handed pitching. And a strike 3 called. Strike 3 calls.
Hey everyone, before we get into today's story, I need a quick favor. I'm on the push to hit 1,000 subscribers, and if you enjoy deep dive Cardinals coverage that actually tells you what's happening behind the scenes, hit that subscribe button right now. It costs nothing, but it helps this channel grow more than you know. Now let's talk about what is quietly becoming one of the most chaotic, unsettling, and consequential off-seasons in modern St. Louis Cardinals history. Because what's happening right now isn't just about one trade. It's not just about Brendan Donovan. It's not even just about rebuilding versus competing. This is about misaligned valuations, power shifts inside the NL Central, and a financial time bomb that could reshape the franchise long after this season is forgotten. Behind closed doors, league executives are whispering, phones are ringing, and the Cardinals, once viewed as baseball's model organization, are suddenly being questioned in ways we haven't seen in decades. It all starts with a report that landed like a thunderclap across Major League Baseball. Ken Rosenthal, one of the most connected insiders in the sport, dropped a bombshell in his latest athletic roundup. And if you read between the lines, it wasn't flattering for St. Louis. According to multiple sources involved directly in trade negotiations, there is a growing belief around the league that the Cardinals are dramatically overvaluing Brendan Donovan. Not slightly, dramatically. Inside those trade discussions, the Cardinals are acting as if Donovan is a cornerstone star, a centerpiece worthy of premium pitching prospects. Meanwhile, the teams on the other end of those conversations are reportedly stunned by the asking price. Rosenthal put it diplomatically, but the message was clear. There is a fundamental disconnect between how the Cardinals see Donovan and how the rest of baseball does. And that disconnect explains everything we've been seeing. For weeks, reports have suggested that more than 20 teams have called about Brendan Donovan. That kind of interest should result in quick movement. That kind of demand usually sparks bidding wars. Yet here we are, deep into January, and nothing has happened. The reason isn't lack of interest. The reason is valuation. Brendan Donovan is a good player. He's versatile. He's dependable. He plays multiple positions. He's under team control through arbitration, and he brings stability to a lineup. But he's also coming off a season where his offensive production ranked behind several middle infielders who are also available on the market. Rosenthal specifically pointed to players like Nico Hoerner and Ketel Marte, players with stronger statistical profiles, more established offensive impact, and similar defensive value. And yet the Cardinals are negotiating as if those alternatives don't exist. That's the problem. When teams can pursue other options with better numbers, they're not going to meet a price tag that assumes Donovan is a star. That's why talks are stalling. That's why interest hasn't turned into action. But here's where things get complicated. Those alternatives are disappearing. Arizona has strongly signaled that Ketel Marte is staying put. Chicago is adding talent, not subtracting it, which makes Nico Hoerner increasingly unavailable. And as each alternative comes off the board, Donovan's value changes by default. This is the gamble Kim Bloom is making. He's betting that patience will shift leverage, that once teams realize their other options are gone, they'll circle back, that eventually one team will blink. And if that happens, suddenly the Cardinals' asking price doesn't look quite as outrageous. But patience has a cost. Because while the Cardinals wait, the rest of the division isn't standing still. The Chicago Cubs just sent a message that should make every Cardinals fan uneasy. They acquired Edward Cabrera from the Miami Marlins, surrendering their top prospect to do it. That's not a rebuilding move, that's a declaration. Cabrera brings electric stuff, elite velocity, and real upside. He posted strong run prevention numbers on a terrible Marlins team, and now he steps into a Cubs rotation that already found stability. He becomes an immediate impact arm, and more importantly, a controllable one. And that might only be the beginning. Rosenthal's reporting also revealed that Chicago remains heavily involved in pursuing elite talent like Alex Bregman and Mookie Betts. Whether or not those moves materialize, the intent is unmistakable. The Cubs are pushing their chips in. They are building to win now and to keep winning. That's the nightmare scenario for St. Louis. The Cardinals are tearing down while their biggest rival accelerates. The power balance in the NL Central is shifting, and it's shifting fast. If Chicago lands even one more star, we're not talking about a one-year window. We're talking about potential division dominance. And all of this is happening while the Cardinals' biggest trade chip sits in limbo. There's another layer to this that makes the Donovan situation even more fascinating. Multiple reports indicate that if the Cardinals were willing to accept position player prospects instead of pitching prospects, a deal would already be done. Teams are far more willing to move bats than arms. Pitching is scarce. Pitching breaks. Pitching costs more. And Kim Bloom knows that if the Cardinals are going to rebuild properly, they need starting pitching more than anything else. This is why the Cardinals keep pushing back. They don't want a quantity return. They want impact arms. They want future rotation pieces. They want controllable pitching that aligns with their next competitive window. From a long-term perspective, that makes sense. But it also narrows the market. Seattle keeps coming up in these conversations for a reason. The Mariners have depth, they have prospects, and they have enough organizational strength to consider moving a pitcher without collapsing their system. If Bloom can extract a high-ceiling arm from a team like Seattle, this entire saga suddenly looks brilliant instead of stubborn. That's the thin line the Cardinals are walking right now. And while all of this plays out, another crisis has emerged, one that has nothing to do with players at all. The Cardinals' broadcasting situation has quietly imploded. FanDuel Sports Network's parent company missed a contractual payment to the Cardinals. Not delayed. Missed. That's a breach of contract, and it opens the door to renegotiation, legal action, or complete separation. The organization was reportedly blindsided by this development. This isn't just a Cardinals issue either. Multiple franchises are tied to the same broadcast group, and the entire regional sports network model is collapsing in real time. The Cardinals now face a choice that could reshape their financial future. They can accept less money to keep the current arrangement alive, they can hope for a buyout, or they can move fully to MLB's streaming platform. From a fan standpoint, streaming might actually be better. From a revenue standpoint, it's a massive unknown. And that's the danger. Broadcast revenue fuels payroll. Payroll fuels competitiveness. And if the Cardinals lock in reduced revenue now, it impacts their ability to spend later, when the rebuild is supposed to end. The cruel irony is that this crisis hits during a year the Cardinals aren't even trying to win. But what happens when they are ready again? What happens when those prospects arrive and the team needs to supplement the roster? This offseason is exposing vulnerabilities that go far beyond one trade. So where does that leave St. Louis? Stuck. Waiting. Calculating. Kim Bloom was hired to be patient, to be disciplined, to extract value others miss. And it's possible that months from now, this all looks brilliant. That Donovan brings back a future ace. That the broadcasting situation stabilizes. That the rebuild gains momentum. But right now, the Cardinals are walking a tightrope. One misstep, one miscalculation, and this rebuild stretches longer than anyone expected, while their rivals surge ahead. That's the reality of Cardinals baseball in 2026. Now, I want to hear from you. Is Kim Bloom playing this perfectly, or is he overplaying his hand? Should the Cardinals take the position player packages and move on, or is holding out for pitching the right call? And how worried are you about the broadcast situation long term? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this breakdown, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and stay locked in because this offseason is far from over, and we'll be covering every move as it unfolds. And once again, if you want to help this channel reach 1,000 subscribers, hit that subscribe button right now.